some of the things that happens in football, that dream I want to say, honestly speaking, and the kind of things that has happened and Ranajo in the Champions League, especially from the point of view of Chelsea and Barcelona, no, very, very funny, especially in the context of Chelsea. Because see, sometimes when I say it, you guys think that I'm just trying to say certain things. But to be very honest with you, some of these things are very, very funny. And we'll delve into that conversation on because should Enzo Maresca have rotated? Yes, no. Should he have played the kind of players he played? Yes, no. Regardless of the kind of players that Enzo Maresca played, no. Is it a team that should have been able to beat Qarabag? Yes, no. We'll talk about all of those things now. I say or Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Guys, someone subscribe to the channel. I'm sure subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. In the notification turn, do choose all just so anytime your content ever drop, you are first to have it. In the last 2 or 3 days, we have been winning very well. Your bet code name, and then of course we go again at the Europa League. So we come back with some very, very good Europa League codes party. Say pick codes I just go straight into the description, pick up today's codes, Europa League codes and the 6 solid codes and the Europa League with the games nearby. So don't miss out on it because it's like that almost every time. People come and miss out and they'll send me text messages. So Fifi, go into the description, pick up the codes and give yourself a big chance of winning something very, very important. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, we'll talk about Football Club Barcelona and all of the Champions League conversation and Ranajo and some breaking news I call Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn notification. Let me say a big thank you to Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. The best place when it comes to car spare parts party Yesumo. Michelle, wherever you are in the country, that's what he calls a nationwide delivery. So can't should be an award here, Michelle, then just call Yesumo. But Accra there also kind post office Accra. In name, Jenny number na friend. As simple as that. Call him on 0593138221. Call Yesumo right now on 0593138221. Of course, also in I'll pay. You want to look clean, you want to look dapper, you want to look solid. Then it's MOB Clothing. MOB Clothing, Ewo the flower station, Ewo. That's the best place to find MOB Clothing. Where the nationwide delivery. Any kind of clothes, you want to look clean, you want to look solid. Whether per retail, or per wholesale, or per Taria, share P, anything, MOB Clothing. So take the number right now and call MOB Clothing. Right now, let him take very good care of you. Call him on 0593-0200. Call MOB Clothing. Janambano on 0200 668-708 0200 668-708 and BBR and you come up and for more everything goes on well. Yesterday, Chelsea went away to go and play against team in front of Qarabag or Azerbaijan or Baku. Now Azerbaijan, Baku is the capital of Azerbaijan and Qarabag for the champions of the Azerbaijani league. Now, before some match, Chelsea had not lost or even conceded a single goal to Qarabag before. Anytime we share Qarabag be a 6-0, 4-0, 5-0, almost. But this season, we'll be a pre-match analysis on Insha or show and I kept on saying, one of the biggest issues is the fact that when you watch the Qarabag team, this season at home, they have not lost a single game there. They have been very resolute. In fact, they went away to go and play against team your friend on Athletic Club de Bilbao. They nearly beat Athletic Club de Bilbao. It's the away form that haven't been so good. But when they play at home, they have been very resolute. And so I kept on saying that people should not underrate what Qarabag brings to these kind of games. If you underrate them at your own peril. This is a strong team that can hurt any team. So you need to be careful with them. And I saw a UEFA statistics that sort of essentially married with the points I was making when it comes to how the game was going to look like. According to UEFA after the game, the ball was in play for only 47 minutes. It is UEFA. UEFA says that the football was in play for only 47 seconds. And it looks as if that is the way a lot of teams get results against Chelsea for only mobile. Frustrates them, don't let them get their momentum, play long, win duels, aggressive high press, and then prevents them from getting into their rhythm. If you're able to prevent them from getting into their rhythm, then you get something off them. And most of these times, these opponents don't even play well. And you see, the bigger problem with this game and with Chelsea as a whole, I've been saying, again, so you'll be a Utimia, for almost a month now, and I've been saying that Enzo Maresca needs consistency to be able to build momentum. Now, why do I say that? Because now everybody has come to accept that when it comes to the solidity of doing the job as a manager, Enzo Maresca's tactical acumen, everybody knows that he has it. But there's still a few people who are not sold on into the idea of Enzo Maresca. Why? Because this is a manager that has failed to get consistency. He gets the wins sporadically, but it's difficult for him to get the straight-up consistency that a lot of football fans would want to get from Enzo Maresca. So he needs to find a way to get consistency. He needs to find a way to get his players to begin to deliver and then score the goals that he had to score for the competitions that they are in. And that is why this game was important. It was important on the level of consistency and nothing else. Chelsea were going into this game, knew that they needed to find a way to be consistent, and nothing else mattered. It didn't matter about whether they had to score 50, they had to score 20. No, whatever mattered was that go into the game, beat Qarabag. Qarabag. It gives you that, okay, what go against Tottenham Hotspur. Everybody felt like, okay, Tottenham was going to be much more difficult. It was probably going to be a game that maybe Chelsea could have even lost. Then you go into that game, manage to beat Tottenham Hotspur by a goal to 0. Everybody who watched the game says that, wow, Chelsea's intensity of the press, the man-for-man press was very, very good and were able to do their job very well. But what about, or how about when you get hunted? How do you manage situations like that and stay in the game as long as possible and get the goal? It essentially comes down to the quality of the games. And when Chelsea keeps on making simple, unwarranted, unforced mistakes, it is a big deal for them to thrive. It's difficult for them to get the results that you expect them to get. And that is exactly where they are right now when it comes to Chelsea Football Club and the kind of games that they are playing. What happened? It's Senaoshe Champions League table. No, so baby and Chelsea that before then. Now, because of Saad drawn and Chelsea boy, it has made the game that is going to come up against Valencia a 6-pointer. 6-pointer in the sense that Barcelona ball draw 7 points, Chelsea ball draw 7 points. What it means is that Chelsea ain't me and finding ways and a win against Barcelona. And Barcelona and a win against Chelsea. Then it means that you may not be able to qualify from because you're about 4 games, you'll be about 8 games. If halfway of that, or 7-pointer, then it means at least you have to get 7 points. 7 points means at least 2 wins and then 1 draw at the very least, and then 1 loss. Now, which game are you going to lose? You need to be able to make sure, say, at least match is now about you're able to get the wings from there and then go build on some momentum not going for it. It is very, very important. Now, see, Maresca went into the game. The big conversation from a lot of people was that why is it that there were a lot of substitutions? I think that one of the biggest problems that Chelsea have had this season has been the issue of the fact that there isn't a starting physical centre-back pair. In terms of the fact that, see, in games like this, you want to rotate. But then in the season, in the long period, and as in the grand scheme of things, what you need is that you need relationships to form and build on the field of play. And we've all mentioned the fact that it is very good that Chelsea have managed to get Reece James to come in because now he's able to be the captain on the field of play and play consistently for the team and get results and stuff like that. And then when you go into the centre-back area, Wesley Fofana comes in and then you don't even get a partner for him. The truth of the matter is that Wesley just came back from injury. Into Enzo Maresca as a coach, there is no way he's going to play him back-to-back, play him against Tottenham Hotspur, then he comes to play in this game again. Against Southampton Wanderers, Chelsea expects the same kind of game that he had against Qarabag, long, physical. They want to turn possession over, they want to win draws, they want to slow down the game. That is how Wolverhampton Wanderers will play. So when you go into a game like that, you want somebody that can win aerial draws, you want somebody that can be very aggressive and physical. And for me, when people said several times, say, okay, why is that Enzo? If you look at the starting lineup and not Chelsea the ball against Qarabag, how is this an excuse for them not to beat Qarabag? How is this even on the coach? Chelsea ball Robert Sanchez, about Tosin Adrabiayo, about Jaro Hato, about Reece James, and about Marco Correa. That is about 3 out of the regular starting back 5 that starts. In fact, the 2 centre backs, Chelsea have never had a regular in a very long time. Usually now it looks as if the top 3 to start for them are either Fofana, Chalobah, or Abrante Efreno. What's his name? Abrante Efreno. Joshua Kofi Champion. And if you remember in the pre-match discussion, Enzo Maresca did mention, say, Benoit Badiashile is going to return from injury, and that is huge news for him. Why? Because when you play against teams like this that want to play the way they want to play and press sometimes high and sometimes be aggressive and then be very physical, you need natural ball players, natural technical players to be able to play the ball out from the back. And maybe that's the reason why he started a branch friend in João Hato. And I'd seen a lot of Chelsea fans sometimes in my DM, sometimes sending message to me and say, Fee, I didn't think that Maresca almost started João Hato. João Hato born on Nimbo, almost started João Hato. Maresca has to start João Hato. A lot of people say these kind of things. So Maresca so started João Hato can play and stuff like that. She started João Hato. But then here we are, where the coach goes on to start João Hato. I mean, when you look at this midfield, now that's the back five. Go into the middle. He started Romeo Lavia. Yeah, Lavia got injured and went off. We'll come and talk about that later. But he started Romeo Lavia, started Andre Santos, started João Pedro, started Tyree George, and on the wing started Gittins and then Estavao. People said, okay, start Estavao. He started Estavao. People said, okay, play Andre Santos. He started Andre Santos. People say, okay, fine, let us play on the other side. Bring in Gittins, let him also come play. This is a decent team, heavily rotated, but decent team. The number one goalkeeper is still there. It's not as if there is a second choice goalkeeper of a sort that you say that, oh, okay, there's a second choice goalkeeper, so he's not good enough and you've played him. It's the same team. This is a team that should beat Qarabag on any day. This team should be able to beat Qarabag and when things are green, right? So for me, I do not fault Enzo Maresca for starting João Hato. In fact, the truth of the matter is that João started well. When Lavia went down injured, João, I think it affected the team to an extent. Then João himself made a mistake, made a mess of the game that he was playing. When he made a mess, made mistakes, and of course, I mean, it brought the team down. But look at that goal from a brand to Estavao. And then for me, that is how you get quality. That is how you play football and get quality from all around. The people that want to play the game, people want to dictate the pace of the game, people that want to be important and play high quality games. That's exactly how you got it. For me, there is no excuse that Chelsea has to go to Qarabag. Now, Utinisha Qarabag. It should have. I mean, make I say me the pre-match analysis now. I was telling the guy, I said, this is a game that Chelsea has to win, and there are no excuses to it. They have to go into the game and then find ways to go and win some match because Qarabag are going to be stubborn. I mean, unless people have not watched Qarabag, but it puts Chelsea in a very, very difficult position going into the Champions League. The rest of the matches now, it puts them in a very, very, very tight position. Positions where they need to go in and then go and win matches. Positions where they need to make sure, say, and then they can't slip up again. Now there's no margin for it. In fact, Chelsea were going into the halftime. I mean, down by 2-1. I mean, who does this? Qarabag had turned the game on its head. Penalty on João Hato. One goal that essentially he didn't defend well and led to a goal. And I personally like the fact that Maresca can him film. I like the fact that Maresca did not take him off because once he does that, he would have killed him for life. I like the fact that Maresca still maintained João Hato. Said, no, João Hato will still play. He'll play the game. He'll finish. He'll see it out in 90 minutes and then allow the game to go. In the second half, the changes that he ran was good. But again, when I saw that UEFA report, I kind of understood the ball go out for throwing, the ball go out for goal kick. Like they'll just not allow you to play. See, I mean, props to Qarabag. Nobody will allow you come from wherever you are coming from to come to their home and come and push them about. There are no pushovers. They are there in the Champions League because they merited to be there. They've done a good job to be there. So, I mean, it was never going to be easy for anybody that thought that Qarabag or Chelsea and one on automatic it was not going to happen for you like that. And I like the way Qarabag managed to go into the game, stay in it, and then get the results that they needed to get. Those are the results that Qarabag needed to get. And then also Champions League table also maybe at Chelsea, that what it means for them. Bayern on top, of course, with 12 points. Arsenal 12 points. Inter 12 points. Man City 10. Paris Saint-Germain 9. Newcastle 9. Real Madrid 9. Liverpool 9. Galatasaray 9. Tottenham 8. Barcelona 7. Chelsea 7. What it means is that with 4 more games to go, Chelsea need to be very, very careful about Champions League. I want to check the games Chelsea are going to play in the Champions League. These are games that Chelsea know that they just cannot afford to drop points. You go into such matches and you draw points again, then you know that you are almost dead. It's not going to happen for you. You will drop a point in your next match, you drop a point in your match subsequently after that, then you know that, Charlie, you are going to be in a lot of trouble. People need to win games. They need to win games and, impose themselves in matches and then make themselves very important. And that is where, for me, the bigger issue is for Enzo Maresca. He needs to find a way, regardless of the injuries, regardless of the players that are going down injured and whatnot. Maresca needs to find a way to get the players to be consistent and to be played in ways. And maybe that is, Chelsea need some of their players to get back. And when you look at the set of games that are going to go on, Chelsea play Barcelona after the international break. There are going to be 2 games quickly. Chelsea will play against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Once we are done, there's going to be international break for 2 weeks. The last international break for the year. Right after the international break, there's going to be Burnley game at Chelsea Belbo at the Turf Moor. I felt that after Tottenham Hotspur, Wolves, Burnley are games that Chelsea should be able to win. But see, even in the English Premier League, Chelsea, the top half of the league, play amongst themselves. Tottenham will play Manchester United, Liverpool play Man City, Arsenal will play one other team, Sunderland plays Sunderland. Yes, maybe Arsenal can go in and win, but it offers a big opportunity for Chelsea who are playing bottom barrel Wolves. You need to beat Wolves, but it's at Stamford Bridge. Wolves will come and shut up shop. They'll make it difficult to play against Chelsea. If Chelsea don't stamp their feet, if you don't get Wesley Fofana fit for that game, if you don't get Trevor Chalobah fit, that will close the angles, make it very physical for the opponents to play. Then you're going to be in trouble playing against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But Chelsea need to beat Wolves this weekend, or else they're going to be in trouble. In the Champions League, Chelsea play Barcelona after the international break. After that, they play Arsenal over there. But Nyame Adoma, when we enter into December, on the 9th of December, Chelsea play against Atalanta in Bergamo away from home. That is a trip of 2 Italian games that Chelsea go and play. Atalanta managed to beat Marseille for so it's an open game. They would also think that they want to qualify. Now, after Atalanta, Chelsea go on and then go and play in a lot of games because they're not going to play in the Champions League. That's going to be the last game of the Champions League for the year. Then they go away to go and play they stay at home to play against Paphos. So there's Barcelona, there's Atalanta, there's Paphos. And then the final game is going to be in the group phase is going to be against Napoli. Now, these games, Chelsea know that if you get 3 points against Barcelona, I take you to 10 points. Then you need just 5 points. That is, in 3 matches, you need 2 draws and then 1 win. Beat Paphos, get 2 draws against the 2 Italian teams and you're good. Or you need to avoid defeat against Barcelona, then go into the rest of the 3 games looking for 2 wins and then 1 draw. It's very important. That is something that Chelsea has to do. And yes, they are going to put themselves in a very, very difficult place in the Champions League. Now, after the game, Enzo Maresca spoke. Enzo Maresca spoke about the team, how things have not gone so well, the things that the team would have to do, the decision making in the team and stuff like that. And he spoke about it. He spoke extensively about it. And of course, I ran it through on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, and then we'll dive into it. We'll see how things are going to go when it comes to Abrantia, a friend, Enzo Maresca, and the things that are going to go on from there. Now, you listen to this, Maresca is always risking this kind of outcome when he makes so many changes every match. The Italian is showing great trust in the squad. Of course, don't change and you get injuries to key players, and Maresca still gets the blame. So there isn't any level ground with these things. The squad is so young, and we need new faces. We need more new faces and youth. It will take time to settle things down inevitably. Of course, Maresca, these things are obviously going to happen. Enzo Maresca on rotation. See, the intention tonight was to rest Enzo, Moises Malo, to rest more players because they were not able to play every 3 days. They need recovery from last season. The Club World Cup affected us a lot. We need to try to rotate when we win. No one mentioned that. I know that when we don't win, everyone will focus on that. That's what Enzo Maresca echo on. Of course, I've said several times that Chelsea needed that to happen. Now, Maresca said the injury to Abrante Finn Romeo Lavia is a possible quad injury. Abrante Romeo Lavia has had. Maresca says he's expecting Romeo Lavia is going to get slightly better when it comes to the injury. He said he's hoping and big issue be a quad injury. The quad usually the muscles in front of the thigh, usually when they are stretched or torn, often to sudden movement or sports overuse. Of course, Charlie, Romeo Lavia is going through it. I mean, it's been very, very tough for the young Belgian. to be going through all that he's going. But I think that he's going to be fine. I think Romeo Lavia is going to be fine. So Chelsea managed not to get the results, but then there was Estavao Willian Magic on the night where he won the man of the match, scored that goal. I think that he was very important. He was very direct, created a lot of chances. But the game ended in a 2-2 draw, and Enzo Maresca knows that his boys would have to come back to it. Of course, on the other side, Football Club Barcelona went away to go and play at Club Brugge and ended up in a 3-3 draw. Everybody is talking about the high line of Hansi, Dieter Flick, and then the Mantier. And I think I can't understand where people are coming from. See, the Hansi Flick team doesn't have the intensity that they used to have last season. They do not have that aggressive press and well-coordinated press that they used to have last season. So obviously, it is affecting them. It's affecting Barcelona in terms of pressing high. I saw it, I think, was it against Elche in the Spanish La Liga in a couple of games? Spanish La Liga name. You could tell. So, and I've said this before. See, in high-performance football, the margin of error and then the distance between success and failure is very thin. Usually, when you're looking at success and failure, you're looking at a very thin line between them, where if you misstep slightly, you're in trouble. Because last season, Hansi Flick was playing excellently well, playing very well. They go to the semi-final of the Champions League, only miss out on the Inter Milan. And then this season, the biggest problem has been the issue of they also playing the same tactics, the same setup, the same game plan. But the bigger problem is that they just don't have that intensity. So in football, one of the things that is worrying is that for you to be consistent and be at the very top, you need to be able to do the same thing or even better for a long time. That is why it's very difficult for teams to stay at the top for a very long time. That is why for managers who are able to build a team sort of compete back to back consistently for a very long time, you just can't take anything away from them. You only have to give them credit for the good job that they've done. And that is where Hansi Flick is right now. And then Oko, Barcelona, and then you look in front of almost every paper. Everybody is worried. Say, Charlie, it looks as if the Barcelona highline are worried. In fact, people are now saying, say Hansi Flick answers the highline now. He would have to be changed himself. And the team has to change it. And now, the whole team, Obia Sport say, any Lamine and Kwana and Bobo. Now, Obia Nyade or Horum. That's what Sport is reporting saying it was Sulu Se Silva Lamine. Sulu Se Salva Lamine. That it was only Lamine Yamada was good. Of course, in front of Mundo Deportivo, Mundo Deportivo is reporting that Barcelona were lucky. According to Mundo Deportivo, Barcelona were lucky. What they are saying is that when you look at the Barca team that played over there in the game against Club Brugge, now Club Brugge had a lot of chances, and Club Brugge probably should have finished it off, but then they couldn't finish it off, and it has put them in a very, very difficult position for Barca to come back. After the game, people will keep on talking about Eric Garcia's broken nose and join the game and stuff like that. The bigger problem is the high line of Football Club Barcelona. Now, people are asking a lot of questions. Say, why is that the high line is not as good as it used to be last season? Makani several times said, in football at the highest level, for you to be able to press, counter press, for you to be able to push up and constrict the pitch and make it a little bit difficult to play in, what you need is that you need intensity. What you need is that you need the press to be spot on. You need people to back up the press. You need people to be physical and step up, be in people's faces and get a job done. And that is exactly what Barca are lacking. I think that they've lacked it largely in Abrante and Rafinha. They've lacked it largely in what Rafinha brings to the team in terms of being able to play out, being able to be intense, being able to, create chances in that regard. Barca have not had it. And that means that usually it is very easy for opponents to deal with Barca for high pressing because press it high. That's it. You don't have people who have buckets and it's not high intense. It's not very high. That's it. And you're almost perfect. It's easy for teams to step up and say, okay, fine. Because, the intensity has dropped. And it's the same as last year. Charlie, last year, when Barca's high line was on steroids, it was because the high line was back. And again, also, one of the things that I think is lost in that Barca high line is the relationship between players. See, at the time when Inigo Martinez was sold, I kept on saying that regardless of the conditions of the sale, the fact that the young man had put into his contract that when he gets a chance to go to Saudi Arabia, they should let him go. Which is okay, which is quite a contractual issue, and that is on the side. But in terms of what Inigo Martinez gave Barcelona on the field of play and leadership organization at the back, I think that was a wrong decision. I think that was such a wrong decision to the extent that, see, Inigo Martinez is a master leader. He's an organizer at the back. And he formed an excellent partnership with Pau Kobasi, because usually in high lines, the fullbacks are usually very culpable. So Washa, if the ball is if where how do I say it? If the opponent team has the ball and your fullback that is on the right side of the high line, or ball sider, if he's on the ball sider, usually the person that's on far side is not good with the high line, unless the center back that is there. So if it's the ball side is at the left side, the right center back has to be a good organizer to call that fullback and say, Masa, play ni pan on, play on, come, me play on off. That is what they do. Now, so that's where most of the times when teams want to evade or play to somebody's high line, they go through the channels. Because usually the channels, you want to come closer. When you're playing a high line, you can't stretch, you can't have spaces in between them. If you have space, somebody would have a deep run and then run in between you. So some teams, when they want to break their high line, they would rather want to stretch you. So they put somebody far and wide. Usually teams don't take that bait. Then they want somebody to come and run in behind. Now, most of the times, it's the fullbacks that do that. And for me, Inigo's absence has coincided with a lot of high-line beatings at Football Club Barcelona. In La Liga, in their last two trips against Sevilla, I was saying, 2-1 in the Clásico, was saying the high-line was exploited. I think if somebody is a Chelsea fan who's going to play against Barcelona, one of the things that they want to do is that to go into the game against Football Club Barcelona with a plan that, okay, we can exploit that high-line. Okay, we can find a way to get the best out of the high line. Oh, hold on. After the game, Hansi Taflek said he has no reason to beg anybody. Also, what has he done? His team is going to play like that. It's exactly how his team plays. That is how his team plays. He's not going to sit down and say that, oh, okay, team now a mistake, so he wants to change the way he's going to play. Now, he said he's not going to play. After the game, Frankie de Jong said, I think in terms of style, there are many things we need to adjust. We know that we are working on it, but we don't always show it on the pitch. That is what Frankie de Jong is saying. Say he needs to make sure Lamine Yamal was seen doing some resistance warm-ups ahead of Barcelona's clash against Club Brugge. Just to stay fit and to get things done well. Of course, in other conversations, our Champions League, the Man City won against your friend of Dortmund was an excellent one. On the other side, there were losses to team a friend in Marseille. Galatasaray went away to AS Amsterdam and won by 3-0. And kudos to all of them. Guys, let me draw the curtain on this morning's edition. We'll be back with some more. Until then, do take care. Bye-bye.